What's going on, guys? So in today's video, I want to just talk to you guys a little bit about the lesson that I feel like God has been trying to teach me. And I really honestly feel like God has been trying to teach me this lesson for my entire life, but no matter what, it just doesn't seem like I can quite get it. So basically, let me just give you a little bit of backstory. So growing up, I was a really, really anxious child. I was just really I really had a hard time enjoying anything about my life. And so I grew up in every single situation, and usually it was sports related because that was what a lot of my life kind of revolved around as a kid and still kind of does. Every single situation that I was in, I just found myself unable to enjoy it, whether it was the pressure of playing or teammates that I had or classmates that I had, whatever the situation was, I was never able to enjoy myself. And I think that part of the reason that that was the case was because I didn't have that sort of relationship with Christ. I didn't know fully what my identity was in Christ. And so I feel like right now I'm faced again with a situation where I can either just keep on facing this situation and be miserable, just kind of wishing that I was in a different situation, wishing my situation was different. Or I could learn to just enjoy the circumstances that I'm in right now. And so let me go ahead and take you to Philippians 4. So Paul is writing to the church in Philippi, and he writes, I rejoiced in the Lord greatly that now at length you have revived your concern for me. You were indeed concerned for me, but you had no opportunity. Not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. So I really feel like in this season of my life right now, that God has placed me in difficult situations to try to just understand and to enjoy the situation that I'm placed in. The things that I do have. I think that so many times we get so focused on what do we have? What do we not have? Where did we expect to be? I think that a big reason that we get angry is because we place expectations on things. Do you know why someone that lives in $1 million mansion can be absolutely miserable while someone in a third world country living in some sort of dirt hut is just like really, really happy? The reason for that is because of the expectations. The rich guy just kind of feels like, hey, my life should be all together. I should have everything all figured out. My paycheck was like, a few $100s or a few $1,000s less than it was last month or whatever. Meanwhile, the person living in the hut is just happy that they have one light bulb or that they have good, clean water to drink. And so much of it is our expectation and what we put our hope in. So if I put all of my hope in basketball and things don't go well for me, I'm obviously going to be really disappointed and really upset. But if I just kind of appreciate where I'm at in my life and just am thankful for the things that I do have. I mean, I'm thankful for the ability to play college basketball. There aren't very many people that get an opportunity to do that. I mean, there are people in this world that aren't even able to do things like run around and play a sport. And we have to be so grateful for that. We just have to make sure that we really count our blessings. Because for everything that we struggle with, there's someone else out there that's struggling with so much more. And a lot of those people are way more happy than the people that have a lot because they've learned to be content, as Paul said, with a little bit. And I think that often, in order for God to bless us with a lot, we have to learn to be content with a little bit. And so I'm challenging myself and I'm challenging you today that if you're in a situation that you really don't want to be in, or your situation just isn't optimal for whatever reason, Just find joy in the Lord and find joy in the position that He has put you in. Find a way to be energetic and happy and to just glorify God with the way that you deal with your struggle, because I guarantee you that there are people watching you. If you've told your coworkers, your family, your friends about your faith and about what Jesus has done in your life, and you're going through a really difficult situation, and you go through it with a smile on your face, and you're just happy and laughing, and you have tons of energy, and you don't go through and complain, oh, I can't believe that we have to do this today. I can't believe that I'm not in a position to do this. I can't believe that I don't get this much playing time. I can't believe that I don't make this much money. Don't let other people hear those words come out of your mouth. Try to learn to live in a way that whether you are making thousands of dollars a month, hundreds of dollars a month, or if you are just barely scraping by and you're living in a third world country or you're homeless, you are under a microscope as a Christian. And just remember that your attitude and what you put out for the rest of the world is what one person is going to think of Christ. You might be the closest that anyone ever gets to seeing what a real Christian looks like, what real faith looks like. There are so many people out there in the world today that get a really, really bad view of what Christianity is. They think that Christianity is nothing but just following rules. It's nothing but just kind of slaving away and not having joy and happiness, freaking out and running around like everybody else when things are going wrong. And you have an opportunity to show people otherwise, that the love of Christ, that living for Christ and having that relationship with Him does something for you, that even through your most difficult trials, that God gives you the strength to power through, and not just power through, not just live, but thrive in those situations. And so a lot of the time I've prayed, God, will you please just take me out of this situation? Will you please just bless me and help me to have just an amazing game today? Will you help me and just, cause the coaches to do this or that or whatever? And I sometimes get caught up in feeling like, God, why aren't you answering my prayers? Why aren't you acting in my best interest? I understand that you're working for my best spiritual interest, and that me being happy all the time, it shouldn't depend on the blessings that I get, but like, please, can't you just give me one like really big blessing? And I legitimately, I think things like that, and I pray things like that. And what I realized, like today, yesterday I had a really difficult day, and I was just having a lot of just personal issues, trying to go to bed last night, and just so many things running through my head. And it really motivated me to, I've got to get in His Word. And today I read my Bible extra. I was listening to sermons, trying to just focus my mind on how I can get right from God. Like, is there something that I need to learn right now before I break through this? And I just want to encourage you that sometimes being in those difficult situations and being in times of persecution and struggle are the best things for us. And we look back and we think, wow, I really probably wouldn't have read my Bible that much. I really probably wouldn't have met with Jesus that much if I had been doing well. And sometimes I'll make bargains with God. I'll be like, God, if you get me out of this situation, I promise I'll spend just as much time with you as I did when I was really struggling. And sometimes I make good on that, but I can tell you that I have grown more as a person and more as a Christ follower during my difficult times and during the times where I literally just could not rely on anything but Him than I ever have in times where things were going really, really well for me. And so I just want to really encourage you that if you're going through a really difficult time and you're struggling and you're feeling like, God, I'm miserable right now. Like I cannot live like this anymore. I can't stand it. Just dig deep into his word. I know that it seems really simple and it seems really obvious, but God has you exactly where he has you for a reason. And you know, I'm not going to tell you this 100% because everybody's situation is different. But really evaluate and ask yourself, is there a reason that I'm in this situation? My brother told me something that if I ended up giving up on this really difficult situation and deciding that I just wanted to do something else, that if God is really trying to teach me a lesson here, that God's just going to make that lesson and that teacher, whatever it may be, pop up somewhere else in my life. So if I quit what I'm doing right now because it's hard and I didn't learn what I needed to learn, then maybe God would make that pop up in my work someday, or maybe in my marriage, or as a father one day. You never know. And I think that our goal as Christ followers should be ultimately what God's goal is, and that's to make us more like Jesus every single day. So while what I'm going through might be really difficult, and it might make me feel like going absolutely crazy sometimes and just really beat myself up, I mean, I have to learn to embrace it and to enjoy it. I kind of wonder if maybe Job's situation, maybe God would have had mercy on Job earlier or gotten him out of his situation earlier if he had learned not to kind of sulk and feel just like persecuted, if he had just had that peace and joy. I don't know for sure, but just like David fell on the mercy of God, I believe that we can do that as well. And I think that if we're genuinely doing our best and just asking, just praying, Lord, please just give me joy and peace in this situation where things are miserable, that God is going to come through with that prayer. But anyway, guys, that was just kind of a real video. Like I just basically turned the camera on. I didn't think that this video was going to be that long. Honestly, it's kind of late, and I'm thinking that I need to go ahead and go to bed, but I just felt like God just gave me a lot to say. But I love every single one of you, and I will see you next weekend, this Saturday. But anyway, thanks, guys.